Well, she'll tell us more.
And now you are live.
Okay. And welcome back to the Education Committee. It is the 28th of February, Friday afternoon, and now we're joined to speak a little bit about some special education, and I will pass it off to you if you just introduce yourself and then take it away.
Hi, thanks so much for having us. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Annie Schneider. I'm a high school teacher at Winooski High School. And we're so grateful that you allowed myself and my students to come here and speak with you today. I'm not a special education teacher, but I'm going to be talking about the value of special education because the work that special educators do really impacts the work of classroom teachers like myself and our ability to really serve all students. So I know a lot of you, most of you are former or current educators or school board members. And while you're here making decisions about policies, funding, structural changes for our education system, what I'm inviting you to do is picture your students. Think about your students. Put a face to the numbers. Think about the kids you know from your hometown or your school, and how your decisions will impact those kids, because it really does. I want to tell you about a student I've worked with who helps ground me in the work I do every day and who I think about when I'm trying to make decisions as well. So the student I'm talking about, he started life with a really terrible accident. He, as a very young child, he fell out of a car and was dragged. And he did survive, but he was really badly injured, and it really impacted his development and his abilities. So years later, he came to the US and he started high school in my class. He was a newcomer. And right away, I noticed the student needed some extra support. His writing wasn't progressing beyond very repetitive phrases. He was really having trouble communicating. It wasn't his English, it was other ways. He was just not able to communicate in his first language or in English, and it was very clear. At the time, he was not receiving any services. He had not been identified. And during the time he had been in school, teachers were like, oh, we need to refer him, but nothing had happened. He was just kind of sitting in this place. So I started advocating for him, talking to other teachers, and we worked together. And eventually we learned about his background, did some testing, and finally, after a couple of years, we're able to place him on an individualized education plan, or IEP. And this totally changed things for him. I mean, it's really, really big. Because of the special education supports that he received, and he has received, he's become an exceptional writer, a strong communicator. It's been amazing. And now having him in my class this year, seeing the changes over the last few years, it's been like very impactful for me, and really strong indication of like how this works. Like having those supports and having that plan is something that's really impactful. And I'm so proud of him, and I'm grateful we were able to get him supports. I'd love the chance to tell you about another student of mine, and she's sitting right here in the room with me. She's an incredible young woman. She's the very top of her graduating class. She's a really passionate advocate for other people, and she has an astonishingly bright future. She's overcome a lot of challenges that she'll tell you about today. When I first had her in class last year, I also have her in class this year, I was given a 504 plan, another kind of educational support plan that really outlined what were her needs, what were her accommodations, and how I could support her best. And this was really incredibly helpful in letting me know how to support her in a way that she could succeed and that she could do her best in my class and like learn the best and be the most comfortable. Because of the work of the special education team that put this 504 together and made it happen, I, as a teacher, now I have the tools to help students of different backgrounds, students like Alexa, students like my other student, and help like bring those natural abilities out. And it's been really great. I'm so excited for you to hear from Alexis, but I want to leave you with one closing thought. In one of my classes, students have to give their own example of what equity means. They have to talk about, in their own words, what's equity, what does equity mean? And without prompting on my part, they talk a lot about special education and how this applies so much to special education. And last year, one of my kids turned to me and says, Miss, this is about, my friend needs help with reading, but I don't need help with reading. So he should get that, and I don't need it. I don't get it, right? Like, we don't all need the same things. And it just struck me as like such a great example of equity, such a great understanding by this kid in my class who like understands his friend needs this, he doesn't, and that's what it's really about. So I wanted to urge you to think about this when you're thinking about the future of public education, considering funding. We, like, not all schools, not all students need the same thing. Some of us need more to succeed. That's, the kids get it, and we can get it too. It's our job as educators and people like you who make decisions about structures and budgets. Consider the needs of all of our students. And when you're making hard decisions, please think of a kid you know. Like, try to put a face to those numbers and just remember that that's what you're talking about here. You're not talking about numbers, you're talking about our kids. So thanks for letting me talk today.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alexis Blunt. I'm a 17-year-old senior at Winooski High School. I have personally benefited from special education services as a student with severe anxiety and a speech impediment. In my freshman year, I carried the same ambition I do now, but was stunted by my struggles with mental health and public speaking. I knew I had the potential to succeed, but felt imprisoned by mainstream education rules and policies. By my sophomore year, I realized that if I didn't take action, my grades would continue to slip. I was missing classes and getting zeros on presentations as I could not meet time limits. Some days I was too anxious to get out of bed, let alone complete a full day of school. I was completely stuck and felt like there was nothing I could do. My wonderful parents reached out to the special education coordinator for our school district, and I was set up with a 504 plan, which falls under the special education category. And I immediately saw positive change. I was able to take breaks when I needed them, as opposed to having to wait until the end of classes. I was given more time and choice on assignments, and was even able to take my SAT and AP tests in an alternative testing environment. I cannot stress enough how tremendously positively these special education services have impacted me. I now hold the top GPA of our graduating class and received a full scholarship to the University of Vermont next fall for nursing. But on a more personal level, I was able to come to school confident that I had the support I needed to be able to work with my struggles, not against them. Without the support of my school and teachers like Ms. Sandy, who worked with me to create and edit my 504 plan, I do not think I would be able to speak in front of you all today. It is important to note that the Winooski School District and community are very accommodating towards all students with special needs or disabilities. If we were to have limited funding and these programs were to be cut or reduced, real students would suffer. Currently, the federal government sends grants annually to states, who in turn send this money to specific districts. What these grants do not cover, schools are expected to make up with their own money. As you can imagine, if funding is cut at the federal level, schools would be required to support special education programs completely on their own. Though this task may sound impossible, it is the responsibility of the state of Vermont to support all students. There are thousands of children in Vermont like myself who will not succeed without the benefit of special education programs and resources. Though money may begin to be debated with respect as to where it should be placed and which programs are worth saving, I firmly believe that special education classes are not an option, but a necessity for the future generations of Vermont. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Fantastic. Thank you very much. This is an important topic, obviously, with what we have in front of us, and it's really important for us to keep special education and that funding in our forethoughts when we're going through this. So having you come in today is very important to us. So we appreciate it. And congratulations on your achievements.
Yeah, congratulations.
Fantastic. So, are there any questions from the committee? Yes.
Just a comment. You said your name was Alexis.
Yeah.
I am really impressed. You did a really fantastic job with
Yep.
your testimony.
Anybody else with any questions or?
What's something you're most proud of?
I think something that I'm most proud of for me is being able to come to school consistently. That was a really big problem for me my sophomore year because I just could not do it. And my grades slipped and my relationships were strained with my teachers and it was just really difficult. But now coming to school 5 days a week and mostly getting there on time, I think that's something I'm most proud of for sure.
Definitely, that's huge.
Anybody else? Well, again, this is, I think, really important for us all to hear. We appreciate you coming in and taking the time to talk with us.
Thank you.
Thank
Putting
you
a
very much.
face,
Thank you.
putting a face to it is really
Thank
important.
you, Teach.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Thank you all three of you.
Thank you.
Andy, should we reset?